the midst of World War II, a shadow war was being fought, a war of secrets, betrayal, and unimaginable bravery. It wasn't fought with traditional soldiers or well-established tactics. No, this war was fought by a special breed of warriors, ones who operated in the shadows, far from the prying eyes of the public and even their own governments. This is the story of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Imagine a time when the world was plunged into chaos, when darkness seemed to stretch endlessly across Europe. The Allies were desperate, and in a time where conventional warfare was failing, a new kind of fighting force was born. A secret government agency, a weapon more unconventional than any force known to man, was created. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, an elite covert group tasked with employing methods of sabotage, subterfuge, and clandestine operations that defied every rule of warfare. Led by a man with a singular vision, Ian Fleming, yes, the man who would later give birth to the legendary James Bond, the ministry was formed with one objective: to wage a war unlike any other. It was a war of unseen heroes, men and women who carried no uniforms and operated under no flag, fighting with methods that were anything but gentlemanly. At the heart of it all was a diverse group of individuals, intelligent, ruthless, and determined. These weren't the polished soldiers that were seen in the movies, but rather a mix of renegades, spies, and mavericks. Their skills, unmatched. Their tactics, unpredictable. Their mission, to infiltrate the enemy stronghold, destroy their supply lines, and deliver devastating blows where it hurt the most, all while staying out of the enemy's line of sight. Enter the team, a ragtag group of misfits, each one with their own dark past and burning desire for revenge. They were merciless and unpredictable, but they knew the stakes. Their lives were expendable, their names erased from the history books, yet they carried out operations that would change the course of the war. They were the very definition of unsung heroes, operating in the shadows, performing unimaginable feats of courage and valor, while the world thought they were simply ghosts. The narrative starts with the story of one particular recruit, a man known only by his code name, David Sterling. A former soldier, he was considered a bit of an outcast by traditional military standards. He had the heart of a fighter, but he lacked the polish and decorum of a typical officer. His unconventional ideas about warfare were dismissed by many, but when the ministry was formed, it was David who was thrust into the heart of this new battle. In the cold, bleak streets of London, David is introduced to the world of secret warfare, where the boundaries of good and evil blur and victory is achieved not through the force of arms, but through the strength of will and deception. He and his team would train in the most extreme conditions, learning how to survive behind enemy lines, how to fight without ever being seen, and how to leave a trail of destruction that would be felt long after they had vanished. David's team is filled with colorful characters: the explosives expert, the man who could turn any object into a deadly device, the spy, a woman whose charm and cunning could slip past the tightest security, and the hacker who could break into any system no matter how secure. Each member of the team had one thing in common: they were all willing to put their lives on the line to defeat the Nazis. They were willing to do whatever it took, even if it meant defying every moral code they had been taught. But as the missions grew more dangerous, so did the personal stakes. Trust between the team members became strained. Doubt started to creep in, and soon everyone was wondering whether they were fighting for the right cause or whether they were simply pawns in a much bigger game. The tension was palpable. Every operation could be their last, and as each mission became more daring, the line between hero and villain grew blurrier. The suspense builds as the team faces increasingly impossible odds. One mission after another, the ministry's tactics grow bolder, targeting key Nazi installations, sabotaging railroads, and infiltrating highly secured areas. But with each victory, the enemy becomes more aware of their presence. The team's actions leave a trail, and the stakes grow higher. Soon, their enemies are not just Nazis. They are a shadowy group within the ministry itself, people who will stop at nothing to silence those who know too much. With the clock ticking, the team finds themselves in a deadly race against time. Every move they make could be their last, and yet they continue to push forward. As the final confrontation looms, they realize the true cost of their sacrifices. Their loyalty to each other is tested, and the shadow war they're fighting becomes a personal battle, a fight not just against the enemy, but against themselves. In the end, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare would change the face of war. They were the ones who fought dirty, fought the unseen battle, and altered the very nature of conflict. But their legacy would remain a secret. The world would never fully know who they were, what they did, or the unimaginable risks they took. They were the ghosts of war, the heroes who operated in the shadows. As the dust settles and the war ends, David Sterling and his team stand alone, their mission complete, but their hearts heavy with the weight of what they've lost. They'll never be celebrated in the history books. They'll never wear medals for their service. But they don't need that. They've already won, and that is enough. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare wasn't about medals, fame, or recognition. It was about doing whatever it took to win, no matter the cost. It was about fighting in the darkness when everyone else turned away. And as the last of the team fades into the shadows, the world moves on, never knowing the price of the victory they secured. If you like our video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel. Also, let us know which movie you want next in comment section.